He's been wrestling since 1995 and still going strong. He's been in the WCW, the WWE, and now AEW. He is 7 feet tall, 400 pounds. Paul Wight is here. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me. I love being at the broadcast booth. I feel important.
Well, that's what you are. Well, you're a wrestler, but you're also, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yes, yes.
I was doing some extensive research on you before you came in here. And I've come to discover that at one point you were having toothpaste sandwiches.
Yeah.
Was this key to your growth here? Because if that's the case, I'll have a club fluoride right now.
Club fluoride?
Yeah.
That was just a real bad time in the life. I lost my grandfather, my dad, and my coach at Wichita State got fired all in the same year. And I quit playing basketball, tried to work jobs. I sold cars at Rusty Act Ford.
20 cars in a month, I believe,
I
right?
did.
Yeah.
My first month, I was on fire, but it was the summer. But the month
Was that naked?
No, that was in Wichita, Kansas. Okay. And then I ended up owing the lunch truck December $12 because you have to have a client base to pull in December because people usually don't buy cars in December and the economy and all that stuff back then. There were lots of reasons. There wasn't as much traffic flow, and the old timers were a lot better at selling than I was. So I owed the lunch truck $12, and I was at a house that I was living in that a family was helping me out. And like my couch was a sleeper couch, but the sleeper part was out of it. I had crushed cardboard boxes with a sheet over it and then the cushions on top of it. It was just, I had nothing in the fridge, and I had one heel piece of bread left, and I had the blue Aim toothpaste. And I didn't want to eat dry bread because it was a little old, and I just put it in, and it was as horrible as it sounds, it was that horrible then. And it was just at a point in your life where, like now I get upset about things, because we all do. We're all professional, yeah. We want things to happen, we want this and that and the other. And I get upset, and I'll go in my home, and I'll open my fridge. Fridge is full. I'll open the pantry. Pantry's full. I got nothing to complain about.
I got to ask you. I know you probably get tired of talking about your size, but we were talking a moment ago off camera. When I was a kid growing up, I was a freshman in high school. I was 4'11". I have never prayed harder in my entire life.
Right.
I said, please just make me average. An average is 5'7". If you make me 5'7", I'll be a happy person. Was there ever a point in your life where you were asking for the same thing, but obviously in reverse?
My prayer got put through? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, you got what I wanted, I guess.
Well, you don't want this, trust me. I remember a time, 9 years old, my sister had made a birthday cake with a baseball and a baseball glove, and she put licorice on the baseball and the glove for like webbing or thread, and I was 9, and I threw a fit because I hated licorice, and my old man beat the snot out of me for, like I got a whooping because I was ungrateful at the fact that my sister went through all the trouble to make me a cake. And I remember outside in the backyard, remember the old metal clothesline poles with the steel wire, the tees?
Yeah.
I remember hanging off that tee, and my dad was a big man. He was like 6'4", 6'5", looked like Bluto from Popeye, real big meaty forearms on him. And I said, dear God, please let me be bigger than him so I can beat him up one day. And be careful what you wish for, because they figure about 2 years after that, I started developing a tumor in my pituitary gland, and then it made me really big, and then I had to have that removed. So be careful what you wish for. Here's the thing. I can buy a Ferrari, can't drive it.
Yeah.
I can look at it, but I can't. You can drive the ever-loving crazy out of it.
Well, what you also can do is wrestle, and you are one of the greatest of all time.
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
No.
I don't know if you can call what I do wrestling.
Beat people up.
Well, I can theatrically impose a butt whooping there.
You recently had your first match back in a while.
Yeah.
What is it like being out there? Does it still give you that same rush when you were a rookie in 1995 going against Hulk and Macho and all those guys?
It's the only reason I'm doing it. I'm not doing this now because, I'm very fortunate. I've had a great career, and I'm very blessed to have the fans that I have. I'm doing this because I want to have fun with the younger kids. I want to take the knowledge that I learned from Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Ric Flair, all the people that I've been through my entire career, the Rocks, the Stone Colds, all those incredible talents, and pass some of that along. And for me, I can sit back and tell stories, but then I'm just another old guy in the back talking. But lacing up a pair of boots, putting on the gear, getting out in front of the crowd, there's a difference on how you learn. That's how I learn from guys. Sure, I heard stories in the back and I got advice, but there's a different relationship in the ring with the talent. And then when you tell them something in the ring while it's happening, and then they understand why, and they hear it and they feel it, that's a magical place. And I'm still having fun. Like, I'm not a guy, I've said this before, I'm not a guy that keeps up trophies or keeps titles, or I'm what's today, what's tomorrow.
Or toy titles.
Yeah, I understand that was a time in your life when emotionally you might have needed to make that purchase, but I'm going to make sure that we get you something much better than that, because that's pretty sad.
I'm sorry to disappoint. One thing that you guys aren't going to disappoint me, though, you get the show Saturday.
Yes.
AEW. For those that maybe have gone to other brands before, have never seen an AEW show live in person, what are they in for Saturday night at Bojangles?
Well, the difference between AEW and WWE, and I get asked this question a lot because I kind of have a unique perspective of it, especially as long as I was at the other place. The other place was such a juggernaut for many, many years of trial and error, and they have a processing way of doing things. They've had a lot of trial and error of what they need to do to produce a talent to make a bottom line. Stand here at the entrance. Here's your entrance. Stand here. Here's your ring pose. Here's your signature move. This is how you dress. This is how you refer to yourself as a character. This is the intellectual property that they own that now you're representing this character.
Can't say belt on TV, right?
Well, you don't say belt because belts, and I agree with that a little bit. A belt's what holds up your trousers.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
It's a championship. If you demean something that you're competing for or striving for or sacrificing for, why would you demean that? You don't call your wife, or you don't call her your old lady. You know what I mean?
Some do, and they get in trouble.
Some do, and it doesn't work out well for them. I'm saying, but you want to revert to something like that with respect and not demeaning. So I always refer to it as the championship or the name of the title. With AEW, the one thing that comes through every night with these talents is just the authenticity and the struggle and the ability to make their connection with their audience of their own free will.
Yeah.
There's not 20 writers running around with iPads to tell you what to say and where to stand. They don't have that at AEW. At AEW, when MJF has a promo, that's MJF, and that's why it hits harder. And that's because it's authentic. And I think that's the thing for me that's great about AEW. And real wrestling fans that enjoy pro wrestling connect with AEW on that level because they get it. Well, it's not the processed, stuff that you get. It's real authentic.
Well, I feel like you also get sort of a good twist of new and old. You mentioned guys like MJF, but you also you got Ric Flair, you got Sting. And this has got to be like a full circle moment for you because you started your career on Turner. You're back on Turner, back with these guys. How do you feel like you're a kid again with that?
I feel like I'm a kid again. I feel like the luckiest man on the planet. I really do. At this stage of the game and everything that I've done, it's real easy for me just to not do anything and sit and rest on accolades. That's not my gig.
No.
It's not my thing. I like to work. I love being a pro wrestler. I love talking pro wrestling. I love helping other talents, and I love learning new things. I've been in AEW, and I've learned new things. I've been in this business since '95 and competed at every level in this business, and I've learned things being in AEW. I'm like, wow, you know what? I never would have thought of that. That's a different way of doing it. That's cool.
Well, one thing that you've been doing differently, you've been commentating. So you are Paul Wight, esteemed as Bobby the Brain. He didn't used to say broadcast journalist.
Ooh, I like that.
So
yeah,
what's hard? You've been in movies. You were in movies with Adam Sandler, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Acting, broadcast journalism, wrestling. Of the three, which is the hardest? Remember where you are right now. You're on the anchor desk. The
hardest thing to do. Live multicam TV show.
Oh,
it's the
sitcom.
Sitcom.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the intensity level was so, and I didn't know what I was getting into. Kadeen Hardison is a real good friend of mine, and when I told him I was going to be shooting at Paramount Stage 26, the TV show that I was doing, the Big Show, he's like, "Oh man, that's great." He says, "That'll be awesome. You'll work 3-4 hours a day." And I was like, "Oh really? Is that easy?" He says, "Yeah, you come in, you just do your lines, they'll move the cameras around. It's easy, man. Don't worry about it." I'm like, cool. So I brought my bicycle out to LA. I got an apartment. I was planning on doing all this riding up and down the Ocean Boulevard. My bicycle never left my apartment. I worked from 8:30 in the morning. I got to Paramount lot, said hi to all the great guys at security gate, and every night I left, I was the only car in the parking lot looking at that Paramount Tower in the dark. And the hours were so long. I got the script on a Friday, the first one for our first episode. Got it on a Friday, spent all weekend with it, knew it inside out, showed up at Monday. Everybody has sheets in their hands.
Yeah.
And we're doing walkthroughs for cameras and director positioning and how they want. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm that good. I know everything. You know, like I knew my lines. I show up Tuesday for another rehearsal.
Rewrites.
And nothing, wait a minute, did she miss her lines? Like, what are we saying? Oh no, there's a new script that went out last night. I'm like, yeah, but no, I don't have it in paper because they do email scripts. So I'm like, no, I need it in paper. I have issues, I need it in paper. So then it got to be a thing where there's a rewrite on Monday, a rewrite on Tuesday, you'd have a writer's rewrite, then you'd have the studios would come by on Wednesdays, do a run through for them, then studios would do a rewrite, then you get the final script on Thursday, which is completely different from Monday, with all the changes and nuances and times, and you got to shoot some of the stuff because we had kids. We only had them for a few hours,
right, yeah.
So we did some of their stuff on Thursdays, and then Friday night was live in front of the crowd. Here we go, rock and roll.
That's crazy.
And it was intense. And come Saturday came around, I didn't want to leave my apartment. I didn't want to go anywhere. I have friends, and hey, come hang out. Nah, bro, I'm just gonna.
You're good.
I'm good. I just need to chill. And it was funny. I was like, wow, I don't think I've ever worked this hard, but what a fantastic experience, because I learned a lot about myself as an actor, as a performer, and just a lot of incredible things that I never thought I'd ever experience in my life. So I'm blessed for it. This is hard commentating because it's very fast, and there's a lot of new kids, and they change the names of a lot of things. You know, like in my day we used to call it this, and now in this day it's an abyssal flaming flamingo or whatever they call it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's a side slam. But, okay, let me get this right. You know, so and you want to do that because our job here from wrestling is to help the talent explain what they're doing in the ring and make their connection to the audience. So I love this part. This is high intensity. I love the live stuff, but this is where I see myself when I do retire, is right here.
But right now you're still wrestling.
Still am.
You're a multi-time champion who could beat the living tar out of me.
I doubt it.
So
all you gotta do is just stick and move. I don't think I could catch
I'll
it.
give you the last word here. Sell the show one more time Saturday night. Give me the old Paul Wight, like you've got an opponent to face on Saturday.
Saturday.
That's right.
Charlotte, North Carolina, Bojangles Coliseum. AEW Wrestling comes to town. Tickets still available at Ticketmaster. FTR takes on Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews. Adam Cole may be in attendance, and the Nature Boy, Charlotte's very own Ric Flair, will be there. This and many more. Stay tuned.
Woo. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It was terrible.
Good stuff. Thank you. That was it.
Thanks, man.
Thank
That
you
was
so
awesome.
much.